Hello guys, welcome to the Alrasta channel, where I can talk about and explain SwallowedStar episode 187's exciting story. In the previous episode, we saw Luo Feng engaged in battle against warriors of the Nashi race on the Yanji continent. Luo Feng defeated his enemies using the Fire God Origin Crystal, which had an explosive power equivalent to that of an Immortal King warrior's self-detonation. Because of that major battle, Siwei Ka managed to obtain his coordinates and launched another attack alongside his companion, King Purple Clock. However, in the end, Luo Feng managed to escape the ambush set by Siwei Ka, enraging the robot race to no end. So what happens next? Alright, without further ado, let's dive straight into the story. During the Hongmen Alliance meeting at City Hall, one of the Alliance leaders, Venerable Ye Zheng, recommended that Luo Feng join the Alliance and expressed a desire to witness Luo Feng's battle prowess firsthand. However, they were unable to access any videos of his battles. The incident puzzled the other members, as they had already submitted a request to the system to gain access, but their request kept getting rejected. This should only be possible for a Universe Venerable warrior with high authority. Meanwhile, Luo Feng was only a world master. It turned out that the high authorization Luo Feng possessed was granted by his master, Chaos City Lord. After learning this fact, the Hongmen Alliance members who had previously objected were no longer opposed. Luo Feng had an identity they couldn't underestimate. Meanwhile, Luo Feng himself was now opening a pile of treasures contained within the storage ring that had been dropped by the Nashi race earlier. Luo Feng felt quite lucky because among the treasures, he found metal fragments from the Flame God race, which he investigated. Furthermore, Luo Feng then used his mental powers to enter the metal fragment, penetrating several metal walls that blocked him from uncovering the hidden secrets stored within. After successfully entering the hidden area of the Flame God race's metal fragments, Luo Feng was flooded with a wealth of information, which was more complete than before. This information also filled in the missing parts of the first secret manual. With this, Luo Feng could now continue with the second, fifth, and part of the 7th level of cultivation from the secret manual. Previously, when he mastered the first level of the nameless secret manual, Luo Feng's human body strength increased twofold, while the Golden Horn Behemoth's body increased 1.5 times. He became curious about how much strength increase would result from mastering the second manual. But before that, Luo Feng continued to check the most valuable treasures in the pile of treasures there. Among the many valuable treasures there was one item that Babata found to be the most special, and that was a Dreamlight God Envoy Inheritance Crystal. After checking all the loot from the Nashi race, Luo Feng began to concentrate on cultivating the 2nd level Nameless Secret Manual. Once Luo Feng had mastered it completely, his physical strength increased 6-fold. It should have only been 3-fold. So this significant increase was also due to Luo Feng successfully absorbing his 10th blood crystal. After absorbing the 10th blood crystal, Luo Feng can now be said to have reached the Black Warrior Legend stage according to the ranking system on the Blood Continent. Long story short, Luo Feng was also visited by an envoy from the Hongmen Alliance, King Yechen, who invited him to join the strongest alliance of the human race, and Luo Feng gladly accepted. He said that there were many super powerful masters in the Hongmen Alliance, and in order to avoid unwanted consequences, Luo Feng and his master agreed to falsify Luo Feng's identity and entire background, and Luo Feng's name was changed to Yang. This also encouraged Luo Feng to focus on training until his human body's strength was on par with that of an immortal king. After reaching that level, Luo Feng was confident he would no longer disappoint the expectations placed on him by his master. It is known that the unnamed secret manual gave Luo Feng's body a 6-fold increase in power. In addition, the Black Warrior's blood power increased his strength 10-fold, plus the 1st level Beast God transformation, which doubled his strength. In total, Luo Feng's strength was 120 times that of a world master. Such power is enough to exceed the minimum limit for merging with general armor or silver armor. Luo Feng then absorbed the general armor bead, which previously could not fully merge with his human body, the armor previously worn by the golden-horned behemoth. And finally, with the silver general armor, Luo Feng's human body's combat power now exceeds 10,000 times that of a world master. When combined with Shu Wu's wings, Luo Feng's aura as a world master warrior becomes undetectable. In the eyes of other warriors, Luo Feng's combat power is now like that of an immortal king. This way, Luo Feng no longer needs to worry when he enters the Hongmen Alliance territory using his human body. In the virtual universe, at the entrance to the city of the Hongmen Alliance, Luo Feng was already visible there and was about to enter the Alliance's headquarters, said to be the strongest of its kind, an alliance formed by various races and tribes affiliated with the human race. The Hongmen Alliance's influence even surpassed the 5 great powers of the universe. An alliance that is quite simple but has an influence that far exceeds those 5 big companies. Previously, Luo Feng had also heard some information about the Hongmen Alliance, and now was the time to see how amazing that place was. When he was in front of the entrance, Luo Feng's identity as Yang was confirmed, and he had access to enter the place. When he set foot there, Luo Feng was immediately confronted with the atmosphere of a fairly bustling city. It was a magnificent and peaceful city. Soon after, an AI appeared to welcome Luo Feng and explained that the Hongmen Alliance city was divided into 3 areas: the outer city, the inner city, and the palace. On the other hand, Hongmen Alliance members themselves were divided into 7 levels based on their strength. Stars 1-3 lived in the outer city, and stars 4-6 lived in the inner city, while the palace was a place that only warriors with 7 stars were allowed to enter. At the very least, they were warriors at the Universe Master level and above. Essentially, the Hongmen Alliance city is a place used by Alliance members to interact with each other, and fighting or brawling is strictly prohibited there. After giving him directions, the AI left, while Luo Feng walked around and looked at the bustling city. Among others, Luo Feng saw Star Fantasy King, or Xinghuan Wang, who turned out to be a member of the Hongmen Alliance. By the way, the girl still didn't know that Luo Feng was the Silver Wing King who had used her teleportation services several times, guys. When they met, even though Star Fantasy felt familiar with Luo Feng, he did not reveal his identity as the Silver Wing King. Luo Feng felt that it was a trump card that should not be revealed openly to the public. Coincidentally, Luo Feng, aka Yang, also met King Ye Chen again, the envoy who had previously visited Luo Feng to join the Hongmen Alliance. Ye Chen, who was a bit mischievous, jokingly thought that Luo Feng was teasing his younger sister, Star Fantasy, although it was merely a joke from Ye Chen. After getting acquainted, Luo Feng was taken on a tour of the city by the siblings. It was said that the outskirts of the city were indeed bustling, unlike the inner city, which was inhabited only by Universe Venerable warriors. The outer city had a population of over 3 million, and although many different races gathered there, the atmosphere was very peaceful. In other places, powerful masters like them would find it difficult to live in peace with each other and would instead fight each other. Star Fantasy said that coming to this place would make them temporarily forget the disputes and massacres that occurred in the outside world. That was why the woman loved this place so much.
一位强者，其中听说这里每一颗星辰都代表着有一颗是为你而点亮。
In the sky above the city, there were also many stars. Each star represented a powerful master from the Hongmen Alliance in the city. Of course, one of the stars was specifically lit to honor Luo Feng. 7 orifice smokes. Wine was a specialty drink in this city, which Ye Chen said was not to be missed. Everyone who came there was required to try it. After seeing it, Luo Feng hesitated to drink the wine because, upon closer inspection, it looked very similar to the poison made by Du Yao. Because the siblings kept urging him, Luo Feng had no choice but to drink it. In addition to the siblings, there were also random people grinning as they waited for Luo Feng to drink. Something was wrong. Well, it turned out that Luo Feng was being tricked. The drink was indeed poison.
是众多宝物库中最好的一家。
After finishing his prank, Luo Feng was invited to visit the best treasure shop among all the shops there. He said that the store was built by a human ruler in the Hongmen Alliance Palace. While browsing the items for sale in the store, Ye Chen met his friend, King Tianzhen. Ye Chen immediately wanted to hug his friend, but his friend didn't want to be hugged. Tianzhen asked if Ye Chen had come there to participate in the treasure crowdfunding event. Of course not. Ye Chen was only there to invite Yang, aka Luo Feng, a new member of the alliance, to see the city. After getting acquainted and chatting for a while, Luo Feng then asked, "What exactly is treasure crowdfunding?" Treasure crowdfunding was a game that was currently popular in the city, where treasure shops would put out one expensive item for 10,000 people to buy together. These 10,000 people only had to pay 1 hunyuan, and one lucky person would be randomly selected from among them to receive the treasure. It's like playing the lottery, a game that Luo Feng finds quite interesting. Not long after, a gold armor was displayed in the store. Luo Feng could sense that it was very similar to the general armor and soldier armor of the Flame God race. After reading the description, he found that the treasure did indeed originate from that race. It was said that the gold armor, or king armor, was quite magical. Its effect could reduce 90% of soul attacks and physical attacks, but the armor had a drawback. The gold armor had a fixed shape and could not be resized to fit the wearer's body. In the past, there was a warrior named Black Phoenix King, and he had to alter his immortal body to be able to use the gold armor, causing his strength to weaken, and he ended up dying in a major battle. Since then, the treasure, which was priced at 50 billion hunyuan and considered too expensive, was no longer wanted by anyone. It seems that only Luo Feng knows that the Flame God race's armor requires cultivation from an unnamed secret manual in order to perfectly fuse with the user's body and freely change its form. In the eyes of others, that treasure is indeed trash, but for Luo Feng, it is extremely useful. The loot from the previous Nashi race was enough to buy the gold armor. Luo Feng didn't even have to sell the rarest dreamlike god envoy crystal, so without hesitation, Luo Feng immediately bought the item. This shocked the shopkeeper and the siblings. The siblings were confused as to why Luo Feng was thinking of buying such junk. In the end, Luo Feng returned to the military base. He handed over the goods from the trade to the virtual company's logistics division and didn't have to wait long. The next day, the gold armor was already in Luo Feng's hands. Long story short, 30 years passed. The golden horned behemoth successfully mastered the 2nd level secret manual and managed to activate and use the gold armor. On the chest of the armor was engraved the word King, indicating that the combat suit was King level armor, which was above the silver armor level. The King armor gave the golden horned behemoth's body 10,000 times the strength of a world master, bringing its power to the peak of an immortal king. With such a powerful body, Luo Feng was no longer afraid to enter the Yanji continent. During this period, Luo Feng returned to the Yanji continent using his identity as Yang, beginning to build his reputation and relationships with many people. Among his connections, Luo Feng was closest to King Ye Chen and Star Fantasy King. During his exploration of the Yanji continent, Luo Feng also discovered that to open the sacred tower, one needed 6 tokens. Luo Feng had already found one and had yet to find the rest. Therefore, he decided to go on a search, together with Ye Chen and Star Fantasy, looking for other clues related to the sacred tower. Outside Yanji's area, Ye Chen wanted to tell Luo Feng something, but Ye Chen didn't want to talk about it virtually, so he went to see Luo Feng in person. It seemed that their conversation was very secret, so much so that even the older brother didn't tell his younger sister what they wanted to talk about. Entering a hidden cave, Ye Chen then revealed that he was holding a sacred tower token. It was looted from an insect race warrior. When Luo Feng took out his sacred tower token, the two tokens merged and flew away to an unknown destination.
杨，再看看你的妹妹。
The three of them then immediately followed the two tokens that flew away using the Star Fantasy King's teleportation ability.
快跟上！
Who would have thought that the two tokens would lead the three of them to the location of the sacred tower? After landing there, Luo Feng felt that the tower was very mysterious, even though it was clearly right in front of his eyes. However, as it appeared, Luo Feng's mental detection powers could not sense its existence at all. As soon as they arrived, they heard the sound of battle not far from their location. The battle was between a human warrior who was being surrounded by automaton puppets from the robot race. Without wasting any time, Luo Feng and the others took action. Instantly, Luo Feng slashed at the automaton puppets surrounding his human comrade with his Yanshan staff. However, at the same time, a flying sword with electric power appeared, aimed at the human warrior Luo Feng was trying to save. Unfortunately, the warrior died. But before dying, he managed to give the Star Fantasy King a memento. That memento was a sacred tower token. When the woman wanted to take revenge on the enemy, her brother asked her not to act impulsively. This was because their opponent, who was revealing himself, possessed the origin law of thunder and lightning.
原法则承认的是在印界大陆名气极大的苍金王，那得到雷电为伍，有着封王极限战力。
On the continent of Yanji, he is known to be a very famous figure from the robot race. His name is King Kang Jin. His level is at the peak Immortal King, one level above Ya Chen and his younger sister, who are low-level Immortal Kings. Not only was he alone, but besides the automaton puppets accompanying him, there were also Shiwei-Ka and King Purple Clock. Because he was able to find a location of the sacred tower, Shiwei-Ka was sure that the humans in front of him had successfully collected 2 sacred tower tokens. Add one more from the human warrior who had just died, and that made 3. The total number of tokens is now sufficient to open the sacred tower. Therefore, these robot races will seize it from Luo Feng and his companions. In the end, battle was inevitable. While fending off the attacks launched by the automaton puppets, Luo Feng revealed that he had fought Shiwei-Ka before. But as for the other 2 enemies, Luo Feng still didn't know their abilities. It seemed that their position was not yet good enough to take revenge openly.
我还不知底细，现在确实不是硬碰硬报仇的好时机。
In the midst of the battle, where Luo Feng's side managed to defeat the automaton puppets, Ye Chen informed the enemy that they had a better option. Since their strengths were almost equal, continuing the fight would only result in both sides suffering losses. So Ye Chen invited the enemy to cooperate in opening the treasure stored in the sacred tower. It was a bold and reasonable negotiation. Will the enemy agree to King Ye Chen's proposal? To find out, let's wait for the next episode. Okay, thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.